Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here today. Today we're going to be talking about this half in, half out situation with Harry, and also the contradictions of Harry putting his son Archie into Eton. The reports were that morning that he had registered his son into Eton, and then towards later in the day, in the afternoon, Harry came out and refuted that and said no. Two legitimate news stories that came out contradicting themselves. There is something very, very wrong with that, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on what happened. Let's get into it. Now, before we go into that story, it looks like King Charles has given Harry an ultimatum that he cannot have his foot halfway in the palace, halfway out. He can't have half in, half out. That's just not going to fly for the king. So what exactly is happening? Well, the king gives Harry a brutal ultimatum if the Duke is to rejoin the family. Now, the key thing here is if he is to rejoin the family, which sounds like to me, Harry has asked whether or not he can join the family. That's very, very pivotal to this conversation. Because that is Harry saying, I want to come back into the royal fold. I want to come back. And then the story comes out telling us that there's going to be an ultimatum if you want to come back into the royal fold. That's very key to the relationship of Harry and Meghan right now, because Harry clearly is showing signs that he wants to go back. But then we know we have this other side of contradiction and pushback from Meghan about even going to the UK to visit. How can you go to live back in the UK or to do some work part of the year and part of the year, I guess, live in California? I don't know how he expects to do it. How are you going to have a fulfilling life doing something that you want to do when your wife doesn't even want to go to the United Kingdom where you're from just to visit? And we know Harry gives these excuses about, well, I think it's too dangerous for my wife to go to the UK, yada, yada, yada. That is not Harry. That is Meghan, because she doesn't want to go to the UK. But they play it as if Harry is saying, I'm not going to bring them because it's too dangerous. Look, nobody tells Meghan what she's going to do. She's telling Harry what she will and will not do. And Harry's trying to word it like, well, I'm her protector. I'm not going to allow them to come because it's too dangerous. No. That's Meghan saying, I'm not coming unless I get X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. Like, she wants all these things. And if she doesn't get them, she's not going. So that's how that's playing out. So that's just right there, in my opinion, not even believable. It's just not believable that he won't bring them because of the security issues. We all know that's not, come on now. Now, the king's renewed communication with his youngest son doesn't mean that Harry will be readily welcomed back into the fold. However, partly because of a rule brought in by the late queen stipulating that members of the firm don't undertake official duties while being paid for work elsewhere. While Harry has not decisively said that he wants to return to the UK, reports suggest that he is hoping to make increasingly frequent public appearances in Britain, in the vein of his trip in earlier September when he visited charities and attended award ceremony for a whale child. Now, sources also told the Mail on Sunday that the Sussex's team were tentatively discussing increased meetings between Harry and Charles, potentially including a joint appearance to signal public unity. Harry's desperate. Harry is very desperate. So what is very key from that article is that Harry wants to go back. We see from this article. But we get reports that Harry has registered his son Archie into Eton. Now, we know Eton is a school for youth who are older than what Archie is. I'm assuming there's a wait list. There is a pre-registration list that you do years in advance because it's probably so competitive, so affluent that, you know, it takes a while to get your child into this school. So we know it wouldn't be for something immediate. But what I find interesting is that the report came out that Harry registered his son at Eton. Let's just go back at that article and look at what it actually said. This came out from the Express, okay? The Express reported this, and it was by Lauren Welch. And she says, it has been reported that Prince Harry has registered his son, Prince Archie, at Eton College in a major bombshell UK move. One of Harry's old school friends has now exclusively revealed that the royal has registered his 6-year-old son at the school, despite him currently living in California. Now, this was being reported because they spoke to a friend, an old school friend of Harry's. Speaking to the royalist, the friend said, it's no longer strictly necessary to put your kid's name down at birth, but Harry has put Archie down. It's fair to say he had mixed feelings about the school when he left, but looking back on it, he can appreciate the good. This is what the friend said. They added, for William and Harry, Eton is really the only sensible choice when it comes to British schools because of security. There are so many high-profile and politically exposed kids there that the whole school has ridiculous security provisions already. 7-day boarding, lots of kids fly back and forth at the beginning and end of term, so why shouldn't Archie? The school certainly wouldn't be prejudiced against him. Statistically, you have to imagine Eton would be a hell of a lot safer than any American school thanks to their gun laws. Okay, so that's where the quote ends. So that's what the friend, whoever this friend is, has said. And we know Harry has talked about his fears of the UK, like I just mentioned before, and it would make sense that the person who wants to put the child at the school in Eton would talk about the security of the school and all these things. But then something very, very strange happens. We get reports that Harry is denying coming out and saying that he has registered his son at Eton. So then Cosmopolitan comes out and says, Prince Harry breaks silence on Prince Archie's future at Eton, where cousin Prince George is also registered. Now, however, the Duke of Sussex is speaking out and clarifying that Archie is not in line for Eton, at least not at this current time. Well, he's only 6. A Sussex port said to the Daily Mail, Prince Harry has not put his son's name down for Eton, nor does he have any plans to do so. So let me ask you this. How does this happen? How does it happen that a friend can go to the newspapers and speak to a royal writer and say that Harry has done this, but then it comes out like the same day that Harry has not done it? Now, and there's several different reports, people carrying this story. You can Google it, it's out there. And then we have to also look at that earlier this month, a friend told the Daily Mail, I can tell you that Harry wants to educate the children here in the UK. Harry feels his children are missing out on the extensive family network and that their niece and nephews are enjoying. So we have Harry trying to go back to the royal fold, trying to have this relationship with the royal family, to go back more frequently. Then we hear reports that Harry has registered his son via his friend into Eton, that he's on the list. And now, when this becomes a big story about Harry's son going or being registered at Eton, Harry comes out and refutes this claim. What do you think that means? Well, it means a couple of things. It means to me that either the people that put out these stories are very reckless in their reporting, and they put out things that they don't have confirmed. They'll just put it in the paper and write it. Or it could mean that there's conflict in Montecito around the children in their schooling, and that there was an ultimatum given to Harry, or maybe Megan called it in to say, no, that has not happened. Either way you look at it, the story then becomes, why did this happen? Why was it reported that your child was registered at Eton and then not registered? Because it seems like something has happened that has caused conflict within the household in Montecito. Because if the parents are aligned in purpose, these two different stories don't get reported. They don't get reported as being, yes, he's going to Eton, and then no, he's not going, or not registered, excuse me. So that paints a bigger picture to what we know Harry wants to do. We know Harry wants to go back to the UK. We know that security is a big concern. We know that he wants to have these experiences with their nieces and nephews, and his child to have the same experiences that Harry has had. And then you look at Harry saying, no, he didn't register his son. Like, something is off. Something is amiss. Something doesn't seem right. Something doesn't smell right with this story. But what you have to look to is the bigger picture that it paints. It paints a picture of something wrong with the marriage of Harry and Meghan when they cannot even agree on what their children are doing for their schooling, and it becomes a conflict, a contradiction in the news cycle. That looks very bad for a couple who should be living their best lives ever, who should be aligned in purpose, moving on, doing great things. It paints a picture that there is not certainty, there's no clarity, there is conflict, there is unclear direction around the children, there's uncertainty. It paints a picture of chaos. Because to have this story come out to say one thing and then completely deny it within the same day, hours apart, says something is amiss. While we don't know what that is, certainly we can see something has happened in this household that has made a very, very big conflict with the direction of these children. Could it be Harry and Meghan contradicting each other's statements to the press? Could that be what it is? I think something has been revealed about the relationship of Harry and Meghan. Just from this story alone, it has revealed a lot, and we shall see what that is. I'm sure it will come. It will come. All right, that's all I have for this video, everyone, and I will see you all in my next video. Cheerio.